AFC, AFC, Southside. AFC, 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 Southside. AFC. Are you ready for the fight? Nighty night, lights out, no Tyson. About to be the clash of the Titans. Strike like a lightning bolt. You feel the ground pounding, that might be the coast. Quick like a joke, like to hit when provoked. Don't you doubt that. That's a Jaguar to a house cat. That's an outcast to a whole squadron. If you talking Houston, then we've got a problem. You'll probably get the horns if you mess with the cattle. Sit back in your saddle and get ready for the fan battle.
It's your show, Josh. Take
What's
it.
up? Welcome to the
You don't
AFC
have
South.
you don't have to do the welcome yet. We can let some people log on before we do
All
the
right.
audio.
Well, welcome if you're already here. You know what? I'm going to welcome people when I want to welcome people. You put me in charge.
Look,
That's
Nick,
right,
Nick.
Josh. Don't
You know
let
what?
her pressure you into
And-
anything.
And when things go horribly wrong, I'm going to look you dead in the eye and say, just remember, you wanted this.
It's all your fault.
I'll be gone by then. It's fine.
Yeah, don't let any yahoos in a Santa hat tell you what to do, Josh.
That's right.
Somebody-
That's right. If
somebody
any Yahoos
read your
tell me what to
mind.
do, it's going to be me.
Somebody read your mind, Sam. Gabriel Ruiz said, I'm here. Start now.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
you
all right.
ready? Let's go.
So,
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. My name is Samantha Burnett. I am not hosting this evening. Josh Allen is going to be hosting because, as you can hear, I have come down with the sickness.
Ebola.
We don't know.
Monkeypox.
But I did want
the
to
fact
come
that you
on.
didn't deny it doesn't mean that you probably have it.
The plague.
I mean, I never deny. But I plead the fifth. But I did want to jump on because, you know, the Texans play the Eagles on Thursday night. And, you know, normally on AFC South Fan Battle, when we make bets, we normally bet to charity, bet for charities, things like that. Donate to, like, one time I lost a bet and I had to donate to the Boys and Girls Club of Middle Tennessee. But the guys at the Franchise Tag podcast in the UK, I made a bet because we were coming hot off of 2 games, you know, thought we would be safe. And I made a bet to wear this ugly ass jersey. So I had to pay up my bets. And
That's
Show
Chris.
the people.
That's
Show the
Chris
people.
Jackson's favorite Colts quarterback.
Oh.
Oh, you wish.
so here I am in an Eagles jersey because we lost that game. And I figured what better time to wear it because I said I would. So I'm going to wear it on the week that I'm sick. So I'm not even going to be on here for very long. And on top of that, the Texans are going to get smashed by them on Thursday. So no greater time than that.
You're not
so,
lying.
But listen, I'll go ahead and just get the hard part over with before we bring in Josh. I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor. This lost bet is brought to you by Manscaped. Okay, football is back, baby. We're back to seeing Hurts because we'll throw in the plug. sling beautiful balls all over the field. And your friends at Manscaped are here to help you sling your beautiful balls all season long. With Manscaped state-of-the-art tech, we'll have your weapon looking more loaded. What?
Huh?
Huh?
I'm sorry. It's
Then-
just like there's these Manscaped
Look at more-
taglines are amazing. Like,
Right? With Manscaped state-of-the-art tech, we'll have your weapon looking more loaded than the NFC East. Definitely not the AFC South, okay? Because we're a poverty division this year.
You suck.
Football may be rough, but your ball care doesn't have to be with Manscaped. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code FANBATTLE. And with that, I will introduce our host for this evening. Joining us, Josh Allen.
What's up? Yes, that's my real name. Yes, I am now officially the best Josh Allen in Jacksonville because the one on the team sucks. So I won't be talking about the Jaguars and how much they stink this week. That unfortunate honor goes to Miss Nika from the First and Teal podcast. She's joining us. We also have Chris Jackson from the You Don't Know Jack podcast. RJ Ellison and Matt Briggs representing the Titans and the Texans. And I will say, just to start off, I find myself rooting for the Texans because I am sick of hearing about the Eagles. And I would love for the Texans, who are terrible, to somehow beat them on Sunday because that would just make me laugh. Because that's all we can do as Jaguar fans is just bask in the misery that comes to other teams that are actually good. So let's start off, though.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I imagine you do feel the same, Matt. Andrew Whitworth. No, I'm like I guess if Andrew Whitworth had decided long in the past to not work out and not be good at sports and just eat a lot of hamburgers and french fries, I think yes. But I appreciate that comparison. That actually makes me feel kind of good.
He's talking about the lineman from the Rams, right? Is that what he's talking about?
yep.
Yeah.
Who just retired.
I think he's on the Thursday night football broadcast now. I forget which primetime games he's doing. So let's talk about NFL news, and we're gonna get to some trades. But a thing happened today. I don't know if you remember the story of Britt Reed, Andy Reid's son, and assistant coach of something for the Chiefs under his father. Was drunk driving, speeding, hit 2 parked cars. And left a 5-year-old girl with a serious brain injury. He gets a 3-year prison sentence handed down today. So I don't know, man. I guess
the system at its best. Terrible.
Yeah, no, it's crappy. And he had resources. He's connected, and I'm pretty sure they looked out for him. Like, it's trash because now it's just like a girl's whole life is affected, and he only has to do 3 years, probably 2 with good behavior. Like,
But this is his third DUI too. Like, come on.
Like, it's absolute garbage. I never wish anything bad on anybody, but I hope karma takes its course.
I think he's probably go to the worst prison for the next 3 years they can find.
Exactly.
Get a little prison justice.
Yeah, and I hope it's not one of those 3-year sentences where all of a sudden in 6 months for good behavior he's out. It's just an unnecessary, just a completely avoidable situation all around. But at least I don't know, I've heard of other cases where people get off kind of scot-free with parole and much less. So I guess at least he's going away for 3 years. But sad story all around. Speaking of sad stories, let's talk about a man named Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, former Atlanta Falcons wide receiver, stepped away from the game for a little bit at one point due to his mental health, which I sort of applaud players for that. If you have a problem, step away, get some help. There are things in life that are more important than football, even if you're very good at it. But then this bonehead got in trouble for betting that the Falcons would beat the Jaguars and got busted. And he's been suspended for at least the entirety of this season and possibly longer. He can apply for reinstatement in February of next year. But then the Jaguars did the most Jaguar trade ever. And they traded away draft picks for this man who may never play another game in the NFL. And that, with all the other trade news, there's a bunch of other trades going on. And my favorite part of this was the fact that the Jaguars social media team hyped this up with memes after the news had already dropped on Twitter and everybody knew. They started pumping out memes of like the dude in the yellow jacket, but they colored it teal. The one that's like hiding behind a tree and like rubbing his hands like he's getting excited for something. They colored his jacket teal instead of yellow, and people just roasted them in the comments, and they're like, "Yeah, you idiots, we already know what you did. And this is the worst possible trade of all trades." So, anybody have thoughts on that? Because I think it's dumb.
Yeah, the guy has mental health problems. The Jaguars already had a linebacker retire because of mental health problems. CJ Henderson wanted to trade it because he had mental health problems. Like, I don't think Jacksonville is the greatest place to be with mental health problems. Like,
Listen, that Telvin Smith story is even worse than just mental health problems.
That's what
Telvin
it-
Smith's mental health
progressively
problems
worse,
led
yeah.
him to
That's enough.
doing some awful things.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, you know, the false hope that the Jaguars have given this year is just on full display in things like this. Last year, rightly so, everybody was calling Trent Baalke a clown. People were wearing clown wigs and clown makeup to the games. And for a while, like, even I was like, well, man, maybe we were all wrong. Maybe Trent knows what he's doing. We just beat the Chargers. We just beat the Colts. Here we are.
No.
You know, things come from and the
Right.
clown-
With Calvin Ridley, I said, what he obviously, are they mailing it in this year? Because obviously he can't do anything for us this year. I guess they look forward to next year. My thing is, I hope they don't get into that thing where they think everything is fixed. And if there's a wide receiver in the first round, they decide to pass over him. I still think draft a wide receiver. Still draft a wide receiver. You don't get stuck into that.
Statement from GM Trent Baalke. We got Sam leaving a comment. We are excited to welcome Calvin Ridley to our organization in the Duval community. This is an opportunity to add a proven playmaker to our already talented wide receiver room as we continue to build our roster for 2023 and beyond. We are looking forward to finishing strong this season and integrating Calvin into our program at the appropriate time. Yeah.
Hey, can we just point out real quick that Sam put Uvaldu? Because I think that I'm not gonna let that one. We're not gonna let that one slide. It's gonna be Uvaldu. Matter of fact, we're gonna put that in. Yes, it was. Oh no, it was a copy paste. First off, if it was a copy paste, that means that somebody else got it wrong, and then you didn't catch it, and then you got it wrong too.
It's amazing. You know, people hate the Duval chant anyway outside of Duval. You know, and that makes me love it. Uvaldu. But yeah, I just think it's not. Listen, I hope I'm wrong, and maybe Calvin Ridley will come back, and have a great year. But I don't see it. But moving on to the other trade that affects the division, the Colts made a trade, sending. What's his name? Is it Nyheim? That's his first name, Nyheim Hines.
We just call him Nyheim Hines.
Nyheim Hines. He to the Bills. Which congratulations to Mr. Hines. That's good. I'd be excited if someone traded me.
He actually has a shot at a Super Bowl.
I think we should be able to trade fans to different teams. I would put myself on the trading block willingly. Please, Jaguars, let me go. Free me of my misery. I think I don't know. Were you expecting that, Chris Jackson? Like, what are your thoughts on them sending him to Buffalo?
So leading up to now, there were names that were being thrown out there. At one point they said Leonard was going to be out there, but I was like, there's no way in hell. They said that Kenny Moore could possibly do it, and I know that he's had some issues with contract disputes this year. Honestly, it's just like if they would have traded him, that would have been additional $10 million. But then Hines just came up within like the last 24 hours leading up to when they were trading him. And you're just like, okay, well, if that's the case, fine, because they're not using him properly anyway in any offense since Phillip Rivers was there. So we're just like, okay, fine. Thought maybe a 4th round pick, something like that, maybe. Man goes for Zach Moss, who the hell is he, and a 6th round pick that's conditional, could be a 5th round pick. I'm not sure what the condition is. Maybe it just depends on how many times you take a shit when you go to the bathroom. It doesn't make any sense anyway, because it's just like, what's conditional about it? Like, he's literally going to the Bills. They're going to they're going to
the condition is how many snaps he plays. I think he has to get almost 100 snaps for it to be a 5th round.
Yeah, and that's stupid. Like, that's the dumbest thing that I've heard, especially for somebody like you're sending him over there. Mind you, they don't need him at this point. He's a luxury, but he's another
RB3
receiving threat out the backfield. Nobody else is going to be able to do that.
So they're probably going to play Singletary more. And they got what's the name?
Dalvin Cook's brother.
Yeah, James Cook. Yeah,
But you think they'll I'll have Himes returning punts or kicks or something. That's what I couldn't make sense of why the Bills would add him. I guess I don't know.
They just want another playmaker. They can just dump it
you're
off of
cutting
Josh
out.
Allen when he get in trouble. Literally.
It's a long season. They need all
Yeah,
the bodies
true.
they can get.
Yeah, especially as the
now
Colts
it's like
gave him
you
away
have
for a ham
somebody else out
sandwich.
the backfield.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
makes
mean,
sense.
the Bills were trying to get Christian McCaffrey, and they just couldn't pull the trigger before the Niners did. So they had to make a move at the running back, and I guess that's the second best running back they could get. So more power.
Bless you.
Jeez.
Sorry about that. I feel like Kareem Hunt would have been a better pickup for them. That's my opinion. If I was the Bills, I would have went out to Kareem Hunt.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I don't know. It seems like the Bills got Himes for a good price, I guess, or good value or whatever. But interesting, much like a lot of the other trades, we'll see how it pans out. How's James Robinson going to do in New York, and how's Himes going to do in Buffalo, and I don't know. We'll see.
It's just honestly, I don't like the trade. I think this is another one of Chris Ballard's screw ups when it comes to this, because this is like, you could have gotten so much more, and yet you get a running back that probably won't be on the roster in next year, and a 6th round pick for a player that is probably going to end up going to a Super Bowl now. Like, good, fantastic.
Yeah, like I said, congrats to Hines. Let's talk now about a trade that didn't happen that is making some splashes, and this involves you, Mr. Briggs, or your team at least. Brandon Cooks, which, first of all, who spells the name Brandon with an I-N on the end? We can talk about that at a different time because, I don't know what they were thinking there. But Brandon Cooks seems to be very upset. He's tweeted what sounded like a weird sort of veiled, not like physical violence threat, but he threatened to not cover up for lies anymore from the team or something. Told him not to play with his career. Did you expect the Texans to get a trade done for Cooks or?
Yes, like half the league wanted him. The problem, what came down to was he's owned like 18 guaranteed. So a lot of teams wanted the Texans to eat up most of that cap, and of course, the Texans. I mean, the ball was in the Texans' court, so they're like, no. So, I mean, I can see why the Texans didn't do it. But he has been unhappy since Jack Easterby left. He was a big Jack Easterby guy.
Really?
Yes. Jack Easterby is the one who brought him here. Him and Camus Gregor Hill, that's why he left. That's why he got released. So, he was in tears when they fired Jack Easterby. So, it's been going downhill ever since. Look, the guy, every team he's been on, the third year, it strikes midnight and he turns back into a pumpkin. He's not good. So it's time for us to move on from him. We're in the rebuild mode, so why not get teams were offering the 2nd round picks. I wish we would have pulled it because we already got 3 second rounds, but I'll take 4. But yeah,
so do you think Cooks has legitimate gripes with the team? Like, is he or whatever problem he has? Is it
Yes.
Yeah.
He's to the point where the rumors are he is going to sit out the rest of the season.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
An in-game holdout or
Jalen Ramsey back.
Back injury.
That's fine with me because that means he don't get paid and his contract's voided. So. Go ahead. That's fine.
Yeah, it's a weird situation.
I mean, you're a grown man being a crybaby. Go ahead. Oh, that's a cool story, bro.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, are his gripes legitimate enough where like him chirping like that is warranted, or is he sort of pouting a little too much? Like some players in the past have done.
I hate to keep bringing him up because he is just bad news, but it's like Deshaun Watson. He got upset because Bill O'Brien got fired and he wanted to be the guy who called the shots and he wasn't. So now he wanted to be traded. Same thing with Brandon Cooks. Got mad because his dude got fired. It's a business. Take the emotions out of it. I get it, but quit being
it's just weird. I guess
you're a grown man.
I don't know. I guess because I've never played on an NFL team, obviously.
True.
A player being that attached to a general manager, Like
He
how
wasn't
much
even the general manager. He was like the president of football operations, like
or whatever. Somebody in like
Right.
even more so than like
Right.
like how much interaction do they even have with the players? Like I wouldn't think it would like during the season would be that much, right? It'd be mostly with the coaches. It's just weird, I guess. But I guess they probably hang out at different functions or whatever. But it's a very odd situation.
Well,
down there.
we had the NFL writer Aaron Wilson, who breaks a lot of these stories on, and he said that that Jack Easterby actually is a real good guy, and that he is very close to a lot of football players, so close that he performs their weddings. So I mean, I get it. He created bonds with these guys, but
I just try to equate that to like the business world that I'm in.
Right.
And me like asking a vice president to like perform my wedding would just be so odd. Like, hey, VP of production and development for this business line, can you what are you doing on Saturday? You busy?
I need to get hits. Can you come out and
it's a different world, I guess, right? So
Yeah, that's never not strange.
yeah. So all right, so let's get into the real fun part of the show where we talk about our terrible teams. -1. It was a victory Monday for everybody. Well, not for everybody, just one team in particular. But let's start with my favorite terrible team. Bang bang Mayo gang. We'll get to them last. We're gonna do Houston. We're gonna do the Houston and Texans, or the Houston and the debacle that was that game later. We're gonna start with my favorite terrible team, the Jaguars. They played the Broncos in jolly old England, and I'm going to kick it over to Miss Nika and let her give her thoughts on how much the Jags suck and why.
Ooh, let's ride.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Oh my God! What words are there for this? The month of October was absolutely horrible for the Jaguars.
Yeah, it was.
It was a game to get right for the Broncos. A team that hasn't been very good, and they weren't very good for this game. But Jaguars on a Jaguar, and they started out. They looked okay, moved the ball, scored, and then Trevor decided, hey, I'm gonna do what I do best and throw an interception in the red zone at the 1 or 2 yard line on a first down after how many penalties?
That is now the Trevor Lawrence special.
Yes. And as soon as that happened, I knew it was going to happen. And I was like, don't throw it. Don't throw it. He threw it. And I said, ball game. I said game, because it really ended at that play. And granted, they were able to come back in the fourth to get them ahead, but our defense couldn't hold water and let the Broncos march right back down the field, score again, and then Trevor does, forcing it another interception, and that was it. I think for me, the only bright spot in that whole game was Travis Etienne. He basically, I say he put on a show. He was hitting holes hard, fast. I don't know, maybe with the leaving of James Robinson, he can get into a rhythm, but he was fantastic. I have no problems with him. The rest of the team, they could have left him there.
It's almost as though they should have, given him the ball in the red
begin
zone
with.
At the goal line.
Yeah, in the red zone. Yeah, instead of letting Trevor throw it there, just let him run it. Just keep running it, run it, or kick the field goal. But then sometimes Dougie P's decisions I have to question. I guess he doesn't have that much faith in our kicker.
I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get that either. Yeah.
And they waited for this guy to get him on the team after the season started or whatnot. So there's no trust in the kicking game. Don't trust the wide receivers past 20 yards. It's like they're figured out. I don't see any adjustments. They like to do the quick tempo on the defense, and the defense just seems like we can't keep up. There's players appearing, disappearing. Josh Allen. Sometimes Trayvon Walker, though he did get a sack. Arden Key showed up. It's just so inconsistent on both ends.
I'll tell you,
when they went up in the fourth quarter, I was texting some people and I sent a bunch of messages. I said, they're going to lose. I said, what do you mean? Your team's up. I said, watch. I said, the defense is going to let them drive down the field and the Broncos are going to win this game. So mark my words, this is what happens every time. And everyone tells me I'm a hater. And what happened? Though on that last drive, the Jaguars defense couldn't have guarded my grandma. My grandma could have got out there and blown past those cornerbacks. And I think it's partly because of the coverage, but it was just, it's just typical invent new way to win Jaguars experience, right?
Right.
Invent new way to lose. Sorry.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there, and I think beginning of the year, I was like, okay, I just want this team to be competitive, because usually by halftime, Jaguars getting blown out, and you go like, I can change this game, or I can go home, and they're keeping you there to the fourth quarter. Jaguars are keeping you through this whole game. They're in it, but you just know it's not. You know they're going to keep you in it, but they're just not going to finish. They can't find a way to finish, and it's so frustrating because it's one or two plays. Really, it comes down to one or two plays, mostly by Trevor, who has these accuracy issues or throwing the ball long. It's these terrible decisions that he's making, and the defense either making one or two bad decisions on the play to give the other team life, or just busted plays. It's like I said, it's frustrating because it's one or two plays where this team could be above 500.
Yeah, and it's the overall lack of pressure by the defensive line too. Like they all disappear. Yes, they did have ASAC. Woo. Good job.
Oh, they got an interception. I forgot Campbell turned around and
they were playing well then, but it just Russell Wilson is not having a good year. He's coming off an injury. The Broncos had a busted up offensive line, and the Jags still managed to not really be able to contain that offense. It's almost worse when they're just good enough that they're not getting stomped every week, because when they get stomped, I can sit back and laugh. I just laugh, and it's almost fun in a different way, because you're just like, oh, okay, well, there's no chance they were going to win anyway, so let's just watch the carnage ensue.
Right.
But yeah,
they're bringing you. They're just sucking you in, and they're playing 55 minutes of football, not 60.
Amen. 55 minutes. The story of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, all right. Well, what do you think? What do you think about this week? What are our chances?
Another get right game, because I think the Raiders, didn't they just get blanked?
Yeah, they got beat pretty badly. Yeah, it wasn't. Pretty
so
that's because they got spoiled by the Texans. They're like, oh, football's this easy. All right.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think it's going to be a Derek Carr tune-up game. He's gonna get right, and
Devontae Adams. Yeah, they're gonna eat us alive. We're gonna be in it. We're gonna be in it until the last 5 minutes.
Let's preview Derek Carr, because I have him in a different fantasy league. He got me approximately negative 1.2 points last week.
What?
Well, listen, start him this week. Don't take him out of your lineup. Start him this week. He's gonna go gangbusters.
I still don't trust him. Only reason why I even played him then was because Jalen Hurts was on a bye.
Oh yeah, start Jalen Hurts instead. Yeah. If he's your backup, then
Jalen Hurts better starting a quarterback on the bye then.
I just don't understand how you get shut out when you had Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, what else? Darren Waller. It's just that's unbelievable. I don't understand.
The Raiders.
Devontae Adams said he's going to play with another Hall of Famer. Remember that.
Yeah, he definitely called him a Hall of Famer.
Is that guy joining the team next year, or who is he?
I was about to say, it's just like
the draft of Bryce Young.
Hey, you tell me.
I don't know, man. All right, so let's move on to the other, poverty franchise in the league, the Indianapolis Colts. Chris Jackson, what was your team doing on Sunday?
Absolutely
not
nothing.
Winning.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah, it was. Sam Ehlinger did pretty well. First starting action. He had over 200 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Only turnover he had was a bumble-headed fumble on a run that he was taking off with. I mean, this team. You know what? I've never felt.
All right, before you go on, before you go on, we forgot to mention the news that the Colts have fired their offensive coordinator, Brady, for the season today.
Yeah.
Teflon Frank Reich.
They fired the wrong guy on offense. It definitely should have been Frank Reich. Like,
there's no way he's calling them plays. There's no way he's calling them.
Like I said this in our Colts group chat. I was like, this is literally giving me flashbacks of when they fired Pep Hamilton and kept Chuck Pagano, and then Chuck Pagano just got worse from there. Like this is exactly what that is. Like they needed a scapegoat. They needed a guy. Irsay just gave Chris Ballard and Frank Reich new contracts, so of course he can't say that Frank Reich is the issue. So what do? You get rid of Marcus Brady, even though he's not calling plays. He's not the guy out there actively doing everything that you're talking about. Like it's more of not getting rid of Frank when you know that he's the issue.
It feels much like the Jack Del Rio tenure with the Jags. They used to call, Jack Del Rio the Teflon Don because nothing ever stuck to him, and he would fire literally everybody else, and no one ever seemed to talk about firing Jack Del Rio when he was stinking it up. But that's immediately what I thought of when I say, "Oh, Frank Reich, you dog, you found a way to wiggle right off the hook and fire somebody else, man." Just wild.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing because Marcus Brady he's not responsible for that play calling. And to make it even worse, Frank Reich uses a lot of analytics rather than actually just going with his gut and doing things. So for Marcus Brady to be the scapegoat in this one, it's like at this point you're just like you guys think we're stupid. Like you really think that we're stupid, like we don't see what's going on. Like why is Frank still here when you know for a fact that he gave up there was another game where we legit didn't score over 20 points. We were able to force turnovers. Like
your defense didn't play all that badly, really, to be honest. Like
it really didn't. Even like the very last play, and I know Stephon Gilmore got a lot of heat because of, that catch by Terry McLaurin was he outmuscled him. Yeah. But it was the pass rush didn't get there. Terry McLaurin literally ran it into the middle of the field. He stopped because that's where it was supposed to go, but we didn't get there, and then he was able to extend the play. But the thing is, the defense spent most of the time on the field, so what else do you expect from them to cover up the fact that our offense is absolutely putrid?
Yep.
Like the O-line is still bad forever. I hope Matt Pryor just gets lost. Like I hope that he just goes somewhere and gets lost and is just not found. He doesn't have. I don't even
like he does on Sundays.
Yeah, I don't wish harm on him. I just wish that he just disappears.
That's what I always say.
Like he does on Sundays, right?
So I always say there's certain people that you just hope that like
on Sunday. And that's the issue.
Yeah, I hope certain people win the lottery, right? And I hope they just decide to retire and go away. So I think it's one of those situations where like, man, I hope he somehow just falls into a whole bunch of money. He's like, you know what? I don't have to do football anymore. See you.
Yeah. I understand that, being an offensive lineman is a tough job because you're in the trenches and you're basically having to block certain guys. But me at 6 foot, 201 pounds, I'm sure that I can block better than he can because all he's doing is basically doing just like a soft security check. Like if you ever seen that one meme where the guy he just goes like literally just touches the arms, touches the side, and then lets him go. That's exactly what he's doing every single week. Like these people, like literally, he's checking credentials. Like it's almost like they're lined up in front of him, and he's just like, "Oh, hey man, I'm supposed to be back there." And then as soon as the ball snaps, he's just like, "Okay, well, go ahead." Like
he's like, "Listen, bro, I'm gonna let you go by. Just don't make it too obvious."
Yeah, it's just
all
like,
right? Like
it's just like, "Hey, you look familiar. I trust you. Yeah, go ahead." Like, no, it's trash. And the thing is, this is another reason why this whole Frank Reich thing is just continues to be an absolute shit show because you've had this guy start every single week, and every single time that he starts, defenses will target him specifically to make sure that they're going in and they're doing whatever they choose to. Like when you see him, people are about to make their stats for the season. Like that's just what it is.
Man, that's a very familiar feeling. As a Jaguars fan, I can relate.
I know, like I've never felt closer to Jags fans than I am right now because I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah, man. Existence is suffering, and being a Jags fan is the epitome of the human experience. So, all right. So, all right. Who do you guys play this week? I don't even know. I know that's bad. Who do the Colts play coming up Sunday?
I don't even know. I hope we lose.
Unless you know your team.
I hope we lose. Hendon Hooker season is upon us.
No, no, you're not kidding him.
Yeah, you stay away from my quarterback, sir. All right.
Hey, well, first off,
Yeah,
you guys are
I hope he stays away from the AFC South. We don't need the coach getting no more volunteer quarterbacks.
No,
sorry,
that's fine. Listen,
no more.
Hendon
No
Hook
more
and Caesar is
volunteer
upon
legends.
us.
He can come to the AFC South.
Hendon
Because
Hook and
the
Caesar is
Texans
upon
got
us.
Arian Foster, and I was freaking sick because I already knew he was gonna be nice. Like, I'm like,
Mhm.
Yeah, you would hope. You want it to be that way, but honestly, I don't even know who we play. I mean, between
I think y'all
today,
got a bye week, don't you?
No, ours isn't. It's late again. It's like week 14.
I got you.
Yeah, oh no, we play the Patriots this week. Well, no, I don't hope we lose. If there's a game, if we could beat the Patriots and lose every other game, and I'd be completely okay with that. But
Do you like your team's chances against Macaroni and Cheese Jones?
I mean, after that showing they had last week, absolutely.
That's my new joke. I want to get people to believe that his full name is Macaroni and Cheese. He just goes by Mac for sure.
Blue Mackerel Jones.
There we go. All right. So moving on to the highlight of the week, the spectacle of football that was the Titans and the Texans. I'm going to let the final leg of the poverty franchise trio go first. Matt Briggs, give us your thoughts.
Dude, if the Texans were going to beat the Titans, Sunday was the day. You had let me put my RJ mask on. The GOAT of Tennessee, Malik Willis starting. The future Malik Willis starting, and he only went 6 for 10 for 55 yards with the interception. And you had Derrick Henry, who had, I think, 30 carries and 231 yards. The dude almost had like a 10-yard per carry. Like the dude tripped and he gets 20 yards. The Texans' run defense is terrible. Chris mentioned earlier about Pep Hamilton getting fired from the Colts. I wish the Texans can take a playbook out of their plays and fire Pep Hamilton. His play calls are vanilla. Like, let's run it up the middle 9 times a game and let's see what happens. Nothing happens, sir. Third and 1. The whole stadium, their mama, everybody, even the blind know what's going to happen. Oh, 3rd and 1, they're going to run up the middle. Watch. Sure enough, 3rd and 1, David Pierce runs up the middle and loses 5 yards. Like, come on. I don't know, man.
And Dameon Pierce is a good back, but like, how much can you expect that man to do, right? Like,
right. But look, this is where I hate to say it. Vrabel is a great coach. He's a great game planner. He knows where Dameon Pierce signs, and that's running up the middle. And they stopped it. But you know where Dameon Pierce had some big runs? Was outside to the edge. So give him the ball on the stretch play. Give it to a toss. Like, quit running up the freaking middle, please. I don't get it.
Operation Butt Crack.
I'm telling you. I was like, hold on. Did the Texans trade for Leonard Fournette? Like, what's going on? But look, Davis Mills was looking good the first drive, and then he threw that interception. And when he threw that interception, I don't know what the hell he went. I guess he went to the locker room and didn't tell nobody on the team because he just went to shit. Like he terrible.
Yeah, long neck Trevor Lawrence strikes again.
Yeah. Like I don't want no Bryce Young. I don't want no CJ Stroud. Because I think they're the next Mac Jones and Justin Fields. So I don't want nothing to part of them. Like Josh says, macaroni and cheese. I don't want none of them. All right. I want Hooker. I want a guy at 3rd round, 4th round. I want Hendon Hooker. I don't want to spend a 1st round pick. I want defense. I don't want Derrick Henry having 400 yards a game against us. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's one of those backs. It does feel like even when he just falls down, he gets 14 yards.
Dude,
like he fell over. How did he go that far? Like,
well, when you're 7'3" and 400 pounds, I mean, you can do that. But man, I don't know. And with all that happening, if Davis Mills just showed up a little bit, we could have won the game still. But no, we had to let.
Sam said, "God, we all suck." Yes,
We
that's
do.
Yeah, we all suck.
terrible.
We all suck.
And that's not like Nick. Like I think this was our first blowout because it was a blowout until garbage time. But like she said, the Texans keep you in it where you keep watching, and you're like, "Oh, I know we're gonna lose, but I gotta keep watching." Like, why? Just lose already. Like, the season's over. Fuck it. Let's go first round pick.
So I have a rule. Like, if the Jags go down by 2 scores at any point, I record the rest of the game and I watch Red Zone channel so that I don't get too angry. And the Jaguars are making me more angry now because they haven't gone down by 2 scores at any point. And I'm just like, will you please release me from this pain? I don't.
That's what I'm saying, Josh. Like, it was 17-3. I was like, oh, the Texans are, if I turn this game off, the Texans are going to do something and then magically start winning the game. And I'm like, on this side of the AFC South, I don't know what the fuck happened because I turned the game off. So, like, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. It's like, come on, man. I'm just glad I didn't bet nobody. So there's that. I didn't want to wear no Titans jersey like Sam. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't bet to wear another team's gear. We talked about that before the show started. But all right, so before we go to RJ and let him bask in his team's victory, I will say that Davis Mills does remind me of, like, if Trevor Lawrence's mama was a brontosaurus, then Davis Mills is what Trevor Lawrence would have been. It's just he's the same from a statistical as far as a performance on the on the field. He's the same dude. So all right, RJ, it's your time to bask in the glory of the garbage, being the king of the garbage heap. So tell us how tickled you were with your team's performance on Sunday.
Well, first off, we're gonna talk about the good and the bad because there was a lot of good. I mean, I ain't gonna say it wasn't very. I mean, it was probably like 2 things that was good and a bunch of that was bad. I mean, what I can say about this Titans team, I mean, like I said 4 shows ago, but probably like the past couple shows, this team isn't talented. To me, I don't think this team's talented.
They got blessed. They got blessed to being in the AFC South.
Yeah,
the only reason why they have a winning record.
Just blessed to be
well, that and their coach.
They're the best of the worst.
Yeah, like, I mean, granted, I'm always be happy when we win, but at the same time, I know, like, when we play the Bills or Chiefs, we gonna get our Chiefs clout. Like,
y'all
it's not gonna be close.
Well, y'all are 5-2 now, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, granted, I want them to get the number 1 seed because I mean who doesn't want that? You know what I'm saying?
But you're 5-2 and you're 3-0 in the division. So 3 of those wins came from the South.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You're welcome that we suck so bad. You're in first place. You're welcome.
Exactly.
You got 2 more guaranteed wins.
Like I told you, I'm gonna be realistic on this chat. Like, we're the only reason our record looks good is because our division is terrible. Like, and literally the Colts,
played us yet.
The Jags. I mean, the Jags. I mean, we still got 2 games against the Jags, but we count them as wins because I just don't think they're gonna be able to beat this defense. Like, it's like, no offense. I'm not. Look, I ain't coming for saying that y'all are bad or anything. I just know we have a good defense, but our offense is pure garbage. Like, it's all Henry. And, like, granted, let me talk about Derrick Henry. I mean, dude is a Hall of Fame running back. If you don't think he's a Hall of Fame running back, then you're clearly just a hater. Like, I've never seen a running back run like him. Like, it literally the whole defense know that he's getting the ball and they can't stop him. Like, literally the Texans, their run defense was so bad. It was to the point we didn't even throw the ball Malik Willis anymore. We just ran the whole second half. We was running on 3rd and 9. Like, who runs on 3rd and 9 and get the first down?
people who have Derrick Henry on their team. That's who.
Like, I was like, man, I feel sorry to be a Texas fan. This is probably one of the worst football games I ever watched, and my team's gonna win it. Like, I'm like, this is terrible. That's why I was laughing so hard at Bridge because I was like, I want to get inside of the story.
That's what I'm saying, and like somehow magically the Texans could have pulled fucking something out of their hat, and we would have won that game. That's why I was like, I can't turn it off because then I'd be like, oh, what did we do? So
yeah, y'all got a garbage time TD. It was back in the game. I'm like, man, they could get the onside kick and be in the game. Like, our offense is that bad. Like, I mean, granted, Malik Willis, it was his first NFL game, so I can't really judge him because there's so many quarterbacks that look like trash their first game and then became great. You know, they have to learn the league. The game is very, very fast compared to a rookie, you know. Yep. So, we'll see. We'll see what Malik Willis.
I will say the nickname Music City Malik is pretty cool. I've heard that thrown around, so I'll give you that. That's pretty catchy. I think a big part of your success is Vrabel. Vrabel has the same feel that Belichick does, where Belichick just figures out a way with what he's got.
He
as
learned
bad as it is, he just figures out how to make it effective in whatever game they're playing.
He's just a great game planner too. Like he knows
he's very good at preparation.
Yes, yeah.
It's you know what it's and I'll say this because, like I said, Mike Vrabel, I think the other thing is just like he's passionate about it, and the guys buy into it because they see like he's out there like getting hyped up. Like I saw the clip with Ben Jones when it's just like Ben Jones played hurt to make sure that the Titans actually won the game, and he greeted him in the tunnel. Like that's a guy that believes in them. And the thing is, it's just like that type of leadership. It's very easy for people to buy into, and it just like it gives that energy. Like
look, if any NFL head coach says I'm willing to cut off my pecker to win a Super Bowl, I'm following him to battle every day. Like that.
Well, I think I think it helped
until he asked if you'd also cut yours off. It's just like
then I'm like, hey, can I get a trade, please? Like I need I need to
get me out of here.
Right.
Well, this also goes into another point of mine. Like Vrabel's a great coach. Vrabel can coach my team for as long as until the Titans decide to just blow up and go to Alaska. You know what I'm saying? So, but my thing is, I'm starting to get out on John Robinson. Like, why is this team not talented? We have the coach. Why don't we have a talented roster? Like, you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna like we're playing hard to get clapped up by the Chiefs and Bills. Like, I feel like that's what we're doing. Like, and I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I want to beat them. You know what I'm saying? I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to. Like, we're going to the playoffs to get there and get put out the first and second round. I don't want that. I want to be able to know that I have a chance to win this game. As I don't think if we go to Buffalo, we're going to go up there and tickle them again. That's exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same feeling with the Jags, right? Like, don't tease me with false hope, and that's what it feels like a little bit with the Titans. Is like that, you may be the king of this garbage division, but you really got to figure out how to match up against those top tier teams, the ones that are consistently in the playoffs and winning playoff games.
I mean, granted, we've had success with the Chiefs. So if we play our game and we can force some turnovers against the Chiefs, I think we could beat the Chiefs. But the Bills, we don't stand a chance. Man, their run defense is just too good. Henry can't do it by himself to beat the Bills. Man.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but the Bills and the Chiefs are pretty much the same team.
Yeah,
just different coaching. Next week, y'all gonna get smoked.
Actually, the Bills are better than the Chiefs.
I think so too. I think the Bills are better, but they both have a higher power offense that can go off.
Exactly.
Yeah. The Bills. I think the Bills have actually found a way to get it together on defense this year. Like, and that was the biggest difference because last year it was just offensive shootouts. The Chiefs kind of are still in that same mode because the Chiefs, you got to be able to shoot out with them. If you can,
that's why I said that's why I said it. I mean, we're not. I don't think we're gonna beat the Chiefs, but I mean, we can beat them though. Like, because the thing about the Chiefs is their run defense isn't what the Bills is. So Derrick Henry could just have a crazy game and just get us a dub. You know what I'm saying? But in the playoffs, he's not. It's hard for him to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's coming to stop him. And
hey, I'm gonna tell you the same thing. I would tell Raiders fans. Do not live off this Texan vibe, okay? You beat the Texans.
Oh, yeah.
They're the ranked 32nd rush team on defense. Don't think you're going to go against the Chiefs and run for 231 yards.
No.
Because it's not going to happen. Look at Josh Jacobs.
But the other thing, like, I guess that I have a question about is I know that you guys have beaten the Chiefs. Like last year, you beat the Chiefs. But the other difference is that you had wide receivers that you kind of had to respect, too. And the thing is, this year it's just like you kind of like you don't necessarily have that. So I mean,
it's not necessarily they definitely don't have that.
We don't.
I was being generous. I was being nice. All right.
Just wait till the Hamburglar comes back.
I've already said this. This stuff that we're talking about, I've said this in week 2. I was like, our receivers, these ain't gonna get it done. Like all they're gonna do is just sit there and run commit like on Madden to try to stop Derrick Henry. That's all they're gonna do.
Y'all should trade for DJ Moore. Y'all should just pull the trigger.
I said that too. I wanted Chase Claypool. I was like, at least if we get Chase Claypool, they're not gonna just run commit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't. I don't get it. Like I might be. You know what I'm saying? I may be questioning John Robinson. He's done a lot for this franchise, but I don't know. He's just not getting us to. He's not getting us where we need to go. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No, I think that's the one thing I love about the Titans is that you can almost guarantee they're going to lose early in the playoffs.
Exactly.
And that's the one thing I enjoy about that team.
And we can laugh at their pain and misery.
My only advice to you is if your team does get a wide receiver, you should probably get one that actually isn't suspended and can play this year. That would be just pass that along to the folks that run your squad. So. Who do you guys is the Chiefs? That's your next game, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we play the Chiefs on Sunday.
Chiefs
night.
coming off a bye week too.
Yeah, we finna get clapped. We get clapped.
And
they just added another speed
Yeah.
weapon to their team. And Tony.
Listen, let's just hope it's not one of those games where the Chiefs run out of fireworks for their scoreboard, right?
Hey,
Like,
fuck off, Josh. I'm already hurting. All right. Why you have to bring up painful memory like that? God.
It happened when the Jags played them too.
Hey,
Oh.
Jalen Ramsey said,
Oh,
if they want that smoke, it'll get there. And then guess what? Oh, it got there. All the smoke from the fireworks they kept lighting off as they were.
I thought you were taking a jab at the 24-0 lead in the
Yes,
playoffs.
that also,
Right.
yeah, that too. But both, yes.
Both. Yeah.
Your team sucks, and so does mine. So
Yeah.
there you go.
See, we
All
have
right,
work
well,
done.
I think we're pretty much done. Anybody got any final closing thoughts before we end this sadness that is the AFC South?
Yes, Texans and Eagles Thursday night at Houston. I'm flying down that day to watch it. So if anybody wants to tailgate, we'll be in the Platinum lot with some sports hosts from 610, Biggie Fig. So some good times if you're going to be there. If you don't want to put up with the misery, I get it.
Wait, you're going to the
game.
Oh,
Yes.
nice! Congrats.
Yes.
I hope
So-
no one spills ketchup on the seats in front of you, and that the ketchup doesn't bake in the sun. and you have to
I'm
smell
going.
it.
I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay money.
Jags game.
I'm going to pay money to watch the Astros on my phone. That's what I'm doing.
Have you checked the score of that game?
Yes,
I don't know if you've
yes.
checked,
Houston period has let me down. The
Wait,
Astros
so,
are
wait, last time I looked at it, y'all was up 4-0. What's the score now? Wait,
No,
Philly
they were
was
never- yeah.
7-0.
Look,
7-0.
the Texans let me down. The Astros let me down, and they couldn't let my favorite Migo live. Come on, guys. What are you
Oh,
doing
yeah.
out there in
Yeah,
Houston?
man, that's crazy.
Oh,
bro.
come on. Get your stuff together.
That's sad, man.
Like, that's all I have.
It's crazy.
So-
All right.
Yeah, hold on. Who do y'all got for Tennessee, Georgia, man? I got to hear the predictions. I know everybody watching.
As a Florida Gator fan, I hope they both lose.
Georgia.
I want Georgia to win, so Hooker's.
Yeah, I think I'm going to
Yeah,
root for
I want-
Georgia
I
in
want
that game.
Georgia. Yeah, I want Georgia to win so that Hooker will go ahead and slide a little bit because
Listen,
he can end up
Chris,
in Indy.
leave my quarterback alone, bro. Like, he's coming to Houston, all right?
Your
Man,
quarterback
please
quarterback
stay
is
away
Will
from the
Levis.
AFC South.
Yeah,
I hope he go to he need to go to like the Redskins or he need to go to the Vikings or something, man. I'm telling you, he go to a team with a stacked roster, like he gonna be a problem. Like,
Hey, listen, you just wait until Davis Mills walks up to Nick Casario, towering over him with that 3-foot long neck, and be like, "Ain't no next man up. I'm it." Like it's just like I got you.
nah, man, that's what Sam Ellinger gonna do, man. He trying to play to be the starting quarterback next year.
I mean, if you hear from Colts
I'm going to
fans,
play to be the
he's
backup
been-
quarterback, the trusted
Look,
backup quarterback.
if you hear from Colts fans, he's been training with Patrick Mahomes, so he's the next Mahomes.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
I had
even try
a
that.
coach guy.
Watch out.
He just bought a Sam Ellinger jersey. I was like, bro, don't buy that jersey, man.
Who did that?
Yeah, one of my Colts fans I know, man. I'm in a group chat with Jaguars and Colt fans. Hey,
Yeah, no.
Yeah, anybody remember Tony
I'm the only
Pashos, the
Titan
offensive
fan.
lineman?
Like,
Yeah.
huh?
Tony who?
Tony Pashos. He played for the Jags for a little bit. I bought a Tony Pashos jersey just because I knew it would be literally the only Tony Pashos jersey in the entire stadium. That's why I'm either gonna buy like my own name on the back of the jersey, or just random like players that are just no name players. I want to have like a collection of jerseys of like, wait, when did he play for the team? Like, oh, he played, games 6 through 12 of the 2016 season.
I got a John Simon jersey, so I feel you.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So, Matt Briggs, where can we find you online?
Yeah, you can find me at Texans Suck Big Ball. No, I'm just kidding. Find me at A1 Day One Texans, and you can catch us on Wednesdays 8:30 Central PM Texans fan battle, where you can see 3 grown men crying like Brendan Cooks does.
All right, RJ, where can we find you?
Catch me on Twitter with me and Leonard Firestone on the way to starting the podcast finally. You know, trying to get this. I know, right? But yeah, you catch me on Twitter, you know what I'm saying, Facebook, you know what I'm saying, the AFC South fan battle. I'm in there always joking on the Colts most of the time and, you know what I'm saying, hyping up the Titans.
Yeah, can't wait for the Mayo Gang podcast to start. All right, Miss Nika, where can we find you? Bang Bang Mayo Gang.
You can find me and my co-host Shayla at First and Till on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, links in the bio to our podcast. And you can also find me on Twitter at Nika989.
There we go. All right, Chris Jackson.
Yep, at CJ Colts fan on Twitter, and you can find us on Tuesdays at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time for You Don't Know Jack podcast. We will be going live tomorrow, since of course the kiddies had to go out for Halloween yesterday, so you know, push us a day back. But generally, we're on Tuesdays 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right. I'm Josh Allen. You can find me on Twitter, Josh Gives Up, and on the Jaguar. Also, sometimes on Tuesdays and sometimes on Thursdays, depending on what all is happening with my co-host Matt Grieve. And that's it for this week's Factory of Sadness. That is the AFC South. So catch you guys.
By the way,
week.
hey, really quickly, just don't forget to plug Sam Loves Jalen Ramsey. All right, everybody, have a great night.